Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Tim Shurr. Tim has advanced degrees in psychology. As an award-winning leadership speaker, Tim has helped corporate clients earn millions in annual revenue using the One Belief Away method from his book, One Belief Away. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Thanks, Gigi. It's an honor to be with you today.
You're welcome, and it's an honor to be here with you as well. Now, why don't you start off by telling us more about you and where you are from?
So I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I grew up and born and raised here in Indiana. And I've started a search probably 32 years ago to try to figure out how to get rid of anxiety and how to get rid of that fear of not being good enough and how to be able to have a strong enough confidence to believe in yourself so that you could actually make your dreams come true and make things happen for you. And so after all these decades, I finally have figured out the cure for insecurity, and now I'm teaching people how to use the power of their mind to create their life by design.
I love it. And what inspired you to become a hypnotist?
Pure accident. I was enrolled in psychology, right, working on my bachelor's degree. And I was taking a class and they had guest speakers coming in. And one of those guest speakers happened to be a hypnotist. And he asked for a volunteer, and I didn't know anything about hypnosis. So I'm like, yeah, I'll cluck like a chicken, but that's not what happened. I sat down in the chair, he started talking to me, and I closed my eyes and I felt this wave of calm and peace wash over me. And that's not a feeling that I was used to having. I was usually full of anxiety and worry, and I was like, what is this all about? And it turns out that hypnosis is really just an understanding of how your unconscious mind or your emotional mind works. And so I got hooked on it because the traditional therapy and talk therapy approach seems so slow. And this gave me results immediately. I'm like, I've got to learn more. So I ended up getting my degrees in psychology, but also going to a hypnosis school and then going to many schools and getting my certifications in hypnotism and hypnotherapy. And I've been doing both ever since.
I love it. Now, tell us more about your summits, the Global Legend Summits that you founded.
Yeah, that was amazing. When COVID hit, a lot of us were like, what are we going to do? If we have to reinvent our business, or we've got to figure out how we're going to pay our bills, or if we're just going to, gather together and be a support for each other. And I thought, who would be amazing to get support from? Right? And then I thought, what about the living legends? The people that I grew up listening to my Walkman with my cassette tapes that I would get from the library, because I didn't have any money to go buy my own audio program. So I go to the library, I get these cassette tapes, and I would listen to Bob Proctor, Brian Tracy, Dr. Dennis Waitley, Les Brown, right? Dr. Willie Jolly. I mean, all these amazing people. And I thought, wouldn't it be awesome if I could bring them together and have the world's greatest speakers mentor us and have conversations, and we could kind of listen in. And I did. That's what happened. I had this crazy dream, and I was crazy enough to think that I could pull it off, and I did. And so, we had 16 extraordinary people, and then we had them have conversations. So Bob Proctor and Dennis Waitley had a great talk, and we got to listen in. Brian Tracy and Les Brown, Tom Ziegler, because his father, Zig Ziglar, isn't with us anymore, but Tom Ziegler and Ken Blanchard, would have an amazing conversation. And I mean, the list goes on and on. Usually you get a couple headliners, and every one of the people was a headliner. And that was pretty extraordinary. And I have it all recorded. And so if people go to legendsummit.com, they can watch history in the making.
I love it. And those are two of my mentors right there, Bob Proctor and Les Brown. They are absolutely amazing.
Extraordinary people. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Now, tell us more about the major challenge that you had to overcome in your life.
Which one? Right? I mean, we all have our big T and little T traumas that we go through. And it's not the experiences, it's the beliefs that come from them. Right. And so whatever you might have been through, it's more the belief that comes from it. So Wayne Dyer used to say, if you get bit by a rattlesnake, the bite hurts, but that's not what kills you. It's the venom that's left inside. And the venom that gets left inside of us after we go through traumatic experiences is our beliefs. And these beliefs are developed and they get stored in our unconscious mind, and they influence every decision that we make. And some of the biggest, most poisonous beliefs are, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of being loved. I'll be rejected or abandoned. I'm not good enough to be able to achieve my goals or take care of myself. If I take care of myself and not anybody else, or if I take care of myself, I'm being a bad Christian, right? I'm not safe is a big one that I had. I'm not safe. And so there was lots of experiences that I went through that reinforced that idea that I wasn't safe, from being bullied to my dad getting blown up at U.S. Steel in Gary. He was an electrician there, and almost dying, and me moving into my grandparents' house and not seeing my mom or my dad for, several months because they were trying to keep my dad alive. And, so my brain just kept getting reinforced that you're not safe. So I was never really playing to win in life, Gigi. I was always playing not to lose. How do I not lose? How do I not get hurt? And the more you try to avoid getting hurt, or the more you try to avoid pain, the more pain you seem to have. So that's what got me wanting to figure out, how do I get out of my own prison of my mind? And that's what led me on this journey.
Wow, that is absolutely inspiring. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now tell us more about your podcast, How to Be Mesmerizing podcast.
Yeah. So, I wanted to figure out what's going on in people's minds that allow them to be successful, because I meet a lot of people who are talented and passionate and really good people, but they don't seem to ever get the kind of results that they want, or the success that they want to have, or the relationships, or the confidence. And what's the difference between people that seem to have that and people that don't, even though everybody's good, right? So how come are some people just luckier than others? And the answer is no. We create our own luck through our beliefs. But I wanted to find out, so I started interviewing, the Hall of Fame speakers, and through my podcast, that's how I ended up, putting the Legend Summit together, because I had already interviewed so many amazing, extraordinary people, and then created a good relationship and added a lot of value, so that when it was time to say, hey, you want to be a part of this summit, they were like, yes, I'm in. Right. So that podcast is extraordinary because it goes deep into the psychology of what helps people excel at the highest levels. And then this year I'm focusing on interviewing. So I interviewed all the trainers and personal development legends. This year I'm interviewing CEOs and presidents on the other side of the fence, and people who are very visionary and also people-centric and culture-oriented. And we're going to figure out how they're leading their teams and growing their companies post-COVID.
I love it. Now, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Oh, well, they should just follow you, because you have a beautiful story and example and message of how to live with purpose, right? And purpose really is just deciding how do you want to feel each day, right? Make that your purpose, not just to make a bunch of money or have everybody know your name or get so many likes on social media, because at the end of the day, that does not create the feelings that we think we're going to get from that. It doesn't build the confidence or the inner peace. So no matter how much money you make, you spend it, and then you feel like you need more money, and you just always broke at a higher level, right? And so, or if you get a bunch of likes, and that's great, and then you make a video and nobody likes it, and now you're depressed and you don't want to get out of bed. So that's not really a good way to have purpose. I think the best way to have purpose is to get from today instead of just getting through today. Each day I want to figure out how I can feel happy and feel fulfilled. And I think a big part of that is personal growth and developing ourselves and becoming more clear about how we want to add value in our own life, what kind of experiences we'd like to have, and then how we can add value to the lives of others. Because once you feel good, once you fill yourself up, the next way to feel a sense of purpose and to have joy every day is to figure out how to share that abundance with others, how to share those compliments, that kindness, the encouragement, the support, sometimes just being a good listener, right? Those random acts of kindness. So you find your gifts and you fill yourself up with that, and then you share your gifts with as many other people as you can, and whatever else you're supposed to be doing, it'll come find you.
I love it. Share your gifts with as many people as you can. Very powerful. Now, Tim, where can the audience find you?
So if you go to timshurr.com, that's my corporate site. If you're interested in the hypnosis and the power of your mind, you can go to Indy Hypnosis. So INDY hypnosis.com. And of course, I have lots of websites and places that you can find me on social media. So, if you go to timshurr.com or indyhypnosis.com, you'll find everything there.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Tim at those websites and timshurr.com. And Tim, thank you again for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. You have a great day.
You too. It's always a pleasure to be with you, Gigi.
Thank you.